I'll be right back, bro.
And here's a story about being free.
All right, bro. Whenever you're ready. What is up? What is up, everybody? Happy Sunday to you, man. Hope you all are doing well today. Austin, what is up with you, bro?
Oh, what's going on, man? Welcome, everybody, to the Sunday live streams. Good to have everybody here. Austin, how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing just fine, bro. I can't complain. My day has consisted of nothing but martial arts and ancient echoes, so it could be way worse. That's it's pretty nice, actually. Pretty nice.
Yeah, it could be worse, man.
Yeah.
How's everybody out there doing, guys? What's up to everybody on X, Rumble, and YouTube? How's it going? Welcome into the show. Welcome in. All these live streams, what we've been doing at the start of them is going through some Christian content while everybody's funneling in, just to kind of get some laughs and have an icebreaker. Brock, you have a few of these clips for us tonight, and we'll go ahead and get into it, man.
I sure do, bro. Let's go ahead and make our way on over there real quick.
And while Bronx is pulling that up, what we're going to be talking about tonight is ancient and hidden / lost libraries. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff tonight. We got a jam-packed show, and I cannot wait to get into it.
Let's do it, bro. All right, we're moving on over here to YouTube. Do a couple little icebreakers, have some laughs, have a good time. Make sure I got my volume up all the way so that you guys can hear it at home. All right, so this is called When You Only Read the KJV.
Are you breaking up with me?
Thou hast verily spake.
I don't understand. Like, I literally don't understand the words that you're saying.
Thy love is better than wine, and yet
trying to play me with the ESV.
The ESV?
I does not only KJV, trying to play me with the CSB.
That's a good translation.
Methinks not only
Methinks not.
Trying to play it the NASB. I does not need a KJB, I'm only KJV. Henceforth readeth KJV, or thwarteth or plans to lay with me. I'm only KJV.
But we have the exact same theology.
I'm only KJV.
But you just started reading the King James like a week ago.
I'm only KJV. Low time for my next chick to wed it. She wist not my text is receptus. Thou art fair, hast thou size and pleasant, but methinks thou dost much protest it.
Okay, baby. I have a solution. Why don't we just read the new King James version?
Bro, that is too funny, bro. KJV only people do not rock with the new King James version, bro.
Okay, fine. But you still think I'm saved though, right?
Methinks not only KJV.
Oh, God.
I think you're in a cult.
I'm only KJV.
Bro, that is so funny, bro.
I'm only KJV.
That's so funny.
That's funny. Even for us being majority, the majority of it is KJV with us, man. But
Yeah.
that's funny.
No,
That's
it's
funny.
when she goes, we can read the New King James. He goes, go thy way. Go thy way.
That was good stuff.
Be gone from me,
Well, and,
woman.
matter of fact, the email I sent you another clip too, man. It'll be right at the top whenever you want to play.
Perfect, perfect. All right, this is another YouTube. It comes from the Joe, the Christian guy. It says, boys versus reading their Bibles versus girls reading their Bibles. Yo. Perfect.
Okay.
Facts.
Of course.
Bro, that is too funny, bro. They gotta get the zone right, man. They gotta get gotta get in the zone.
All right, bro. Well, let's pull us up for. Oh yeah, there we go.
That's why I love this community of faith that we have, because we all kind of grew up together and we do a lot of weird stuff, but people don't know it's weird. We think it's normal, but it's not. And like people brand new to church walk in, we're like, we're gonna wash you in the blood, or I'm calling the cops. These Christian music stations, I love the Christian radio, but they're funny in a way because they always play like, this is why I can't listen to Christian music anymore, okay? Because you ever been listening to a Christian radio station, you ever going through some kind of hardship or struggle or hard time, you hear a song that's for you. You ever been there? Thank you, Jesus, I needed this song. It spoke to you directly. You ever been there? So have I, but like in a different way, okay? You ever been driving home? It's like 3 in the morning. You're on the way home from, making some poor choices, and
Many times.
you pull around the corner, you see that 24-hour Taco Bell, like. Just in bumper-to-bumper traffic, just screaming at the guy in front of you, like, dude. I don't know how they know. They know what's going on in your life, always. I don't know what kind of witchcraft they got going on over there. Me and my little brother, when I turned 16 years old, me and my little brother had a pact. He was 14, I was 16. We were going to sneak out of the house and go to Hooters. Me and my little brother. I was a kid. Anyway, we pulled out. We drove into the parking lot like.
That's silly, bro. That's funny. I don't even know what they'll serve
My
you
brother
at
was
that
scared
age.
to death. He's like, dude, let's get out of here. I was like, nah, let's go inside. No one's gonna know.
He knows.
One time I got rear-ended in traffic. I stepped out of the car and I was like. It's stupid, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid.
I got pulled over for speeding one time. I was pulled over, and the cop came up to my window. I rolled it down, and I was just like.
I am guilty.
Oh God.
Ashamed of what I've done.
This guy, I don't know what happened. He was back there. When they're back there for a long time, I'm about to get a huge ticket. It's not going to be good. I got to go to jail.
Right.
I was thinking all these terrible thoughts. This guy comes back and lets me off with a warning, and I was like. Oh, y'all having a good time tonight, Corpus Christi? Thanks so much for coming.
Bro, that is too funny, man. Good looks on the Christian comedians, man. It's nice that we at least have those out there. That's really nice. Wow.
It's a tough job, man. We talked about it before. Every time we play it, it's a tough job.
Yeah, for real. It's goodness gracious. Wow. All right, man. So we're nice little icebreaker, nice little way to start out the night. Connor Rain says, "What it do? It does." Connor Rain, I couldn't call it,
What
but
it do,
does.
Connor Rain?
Sean says, "How we doing, boys? Doing so
Hello,
fine.
Sean. Hello.
Doing so fine, man." It's
Welcome in, brother.
I hate to tell you, I'm getting to the point where I really look forward to doing these Sunday things, man. In the morning time, I do my martial arts instruction, and as soon as I'm done teaching, I'm like, all right, I've got like 3 hours to get my life put together, and then it's Ancient Echoes time, baby. You know what I mean? So
yeah, man. I hate we missed it last week, man. It was just such a everything last week, like from Saturday to Sunday, Sunday to Saturday. It was tough, man. Everything last week was a struggle, so it's good to get back in here and talk to everybody. Do you want to announce the video for next week, or do you think that we're close?
That's a tough one to call. So, all right. So our biblical cosmology video that we have been teasing for like 6 years, it is finally cut down and put into its proper proportions. Everything. Yeah. Thank you. It's been about, I think, if you put everything together from the time it took to put the material together, to put it in order, to record it, and then to edit it, we've probably put in something like 80 to 100 hours into that video now. It's been a long time. So I was thrilled when earlier this afternoon I was able to finally get to the last line of video and say, all right, I've been through it all the way through. Everything is taken care of. There's a few minor things that need to be added to it, and just a couple little cherries on top for some stuff. So I don't want to say it's going to come out next week and then, lo and behold, something crazy happens and I can't get it out next week. But it is going to be very soon, and I'm really looking forward to it, man.
So close.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, man, and I hope you guys are too, because it's one of those where I've put, and you did too. I mean, it's not just a me thing. We've put so much love and effort into that. It's just like, wow, just to be able to be there and have it done is so nice.
Right, I'm ready to get it out to everybody, and I'm also ready to get back to our Genesis commentary. Ready to get back in the cockpit for that, man. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into what we're talking about tonight. We got a bunch of ancient libraries lined up.
Sure.
We're going to be looking for all kinds of cool stuff tonight. So Bronson, do you want to start us out with our first ancient library? Some of these will be current, and some of these are ancient, and one of these has never been found. So we're going to dive into this.
Sounds good, man. All right, sorry, I'm just putting together a couple of little things down here on my soundboard real quick, just to make sure that everything's coming in smoothly and nicely. All right, here we go. Let's get into some stuff. Move over this direction. So, the first thing that we have coming in here today is a clip. This comes from our boys Sunday Cool Tees. These guys, they do well for themselves. They do a good job.
The first Tsar of Russia. He also created Russia's first secret police, nicknamed the Children of Darkness.
Oh, snap.
They could go into a house, they could burn your house, kill you, do whatever. But it has been rumored that Ivan the Terrible had a secret library.
Sick.
But this library supposedly was created by his grandfather, Ivan III, with a few books, and then Ivan the Terrible collected more, but it was very secretive, and they don't know where it is today. They've never found it. Supposedly, it contains ancient Greek, Roman, and Egyptian manuscripts, occult and esoteric texts, and texts allegedly from Atlantis.
What?
Please be real.
When I first heard about it, I'm like, okay, this seems like another conspiracy. Like, oh, did you know there's a secret library from Ivan the Terrible? But there's some credibility to it, because since the 1600s, basically anyone that has been ruling over Russia, the government, treasure hunters, they've been looking for this library. Even the Vatican, they've been in search for this lost library. And so to this day, no one knows where it is. Some speculate that it's in the wilderness in Siberia, something that's under the Kremlin, but either way, no one has found it.
It's got to be underground.
What if we find it and it's all Twilight?
Speaking of dragon sickness, Ivan the Terrible.
Wow, bro. Very interesting. So
the Library of Ivan the Terrible out of Russia. We have another clip on this?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, let's check out this other clip, and then we'll go into some more.
Let's If hopefully the sound's coming in good for you guys, man. Just holler and say the word if it isn't.
What if a secret collection of priceless wisdom vanished without a trace? Ivan the Terrible, Russia's infamous Tsar, is rumored to have assembled a vast trove of ancient manuscripts and rare books, dubbed the Lost Library. Legends say it contained texts from Byzantium, Rome, and beyond, possibly even works unseen for centuries. Hidden deep beneath Moscow or spirited away during times of upheaval, countless explorers have searched for this treasure, but it has never been found. The fate of Ivan's library remains one of history's most tantalizing enigmas. What if a secret collection...
Very interesting. So my initial thoughts on all this is that if there is something here that you have the Vatican looking for and other no, Connor, we will not be tonight. We've got most of our stuff is taking place outside of Asia. We have stuff for Egypt, we have stuff for Russia, and for Sumeria.
In Asia?
Yeah.
This is the, let's see, this is the only one in Asia for tonight. If you guys, if there's some you want us to cover, put it in the chat and we'll pull it up, man. We can freestyle, so.
Yeah, we'll definitely give it a shot.
We'll definitely pull it up, man. And I'll do some quick research and get some clips over, and we'll find whatever we can. So if any of you guys have anything you're interested in, just let us know. We will get into it.
It comes in from Connor. She says, Bronson, will you be discussing Wan Shi Tong's library in the Siwang Desert? I've never heard of it.
We can do that for sure.
I don't know nothing about it.
I don't know a whole lot about it, but we can go ahead and look at it for sure.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's what's up, man. Yeah. Hold on. Let me pull this down just a touch here. This is a little too big. Wow. So when you've got a library that the Vatican is trying to find, a couple of other kings and emperors and empires are looking for your stuff, that makes me think you have a certain book that perhaps these people are very interested in.
They have something for sure.
I knew she was messing around. Connor said, I'm just kidding, that's the library from Avatar. I was like, bro,
I
Wong.
was thinking that there was a library that was found with the oh good lord, put me on the spot here, the with all the like the statues of the soldiers, or what are they called? Sorry,
yeah.
I'm drawing a blank. I think there was a library there. What are they called? Put it in the chat if you know what I'm talking about in Asia. The good lord, I thought me and you have talked about this probably 10-20 times.
Yeah, I know, and I can't remember the name of it either. This is the same place where they've got a couple of doors that are like sealed up, that have been sealed for...
No, that I think this is a different place.
Okay.
This is a different place. We're getting off the subject, but we can go into it and look if you want.
Yeah. When she said she said the Siwang Desert, I was like, bro, what is the Siwang Desert? I've never heard of it.
I wasn't sure about the desert. I was like, was it in a desert? I know China has a huge desert, but I was like, what is the Siwang Desert?
Yeah, I've never heard of that before, bro.
Yeah, but I think there was a small library found with those God, what do they call it? The soldiers.
Hold on,
Anybody
bro.
in the chat?
I'm gonna Google it real quick. What are the Chinese soldiers called? Stone Chinese soldiers. Talking about the Terracotta Army?
Terracotta Army. Thank you. Yes. Was there any text found with the Terracotta Army while we're there?
Let's see.
Let's see if I was right or wrong about that, because I'd like to know.
Terracotta Army. Let's see. No specific literature. The Terracotta Army is a collection of around 7,000 life-size terracotta soldiers buried in 3 pits outside the tomb of the first Chinese emperor. Not going to pronounce that right. And no specific literature, but I mean, come on.
I know I heard something about some kind of a library that was underground, and I can't remember where it was at. I think it was in China. That there was an underground library found, but there is so much conspiracy and stuff that comes out of China,
right?
And so much hearsay and Chinese pyramids and
ghost
towns and all this type of stuff. You don't know what's true or not, man. So
yeah, it's hard to tell.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but they've got such an ancient culture over there, man. I imagine there's probably, I'm sure there's a handful of ancient libraries that have been lost. You know what I mean? But
Oh yeah, I mean, there's got to have been tons.
yeah, very, very cool stuff. So this lost library of Ivan the Terrible, it's known as the Library of the Moscow Tsars, and it's also known as the Golden Library. It is speculated to have been assembled by the Grand Duke Ivan III in the 16th century. Yeah, he's credited of the disappearance of the library. The lost library is thought. We don't actually, like right here it says by whom. We don't know exactly where the citation comes from, but it says the lost library is thought to contain rare Greek, Latin, and Egyptian works from the libraries of Constantinople, Alexandria, as well as 2nd century Chinese texts and manuscripts from Ivan IV's own era, which is so interesting. The library has been historically located as being underneath the Kremlin and has become a source of interest for researchers, archaeologists, treasure hunters, and historical figures such as Emperor Pete the Great and Napoleon Bonaparte. I'm surprised Hitler's not on this list. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if he went looking for it as well. The Third Reich were looking for all kinds of text and religious artifacts from the what is it? The Spear of Destiny to
the
all kinds of stuff all around the world.
The Cup of Youth and all that. What do you call it? The
Grail of
the Holy Grail, yeah,
and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, anything that was a mystical artifact, they were after. Though specifically the SS and Himmler. Himmler was after everything that he could find. Right.
Yeah, I'm sure if he maybe would have got further into Russia, perhaps we would have known that he was more than likely interested in this. I mean, you know, in my modern day 2025 brain, I'm like, well, it's a library, what's the big deal? But that's a guy who's I was able to just figure out the terracotta soldiers by just typing some stuff into the internet. But for them back then, and you know, you're talking about the 1300s, 1400s, to be able to have a place where scholars put their works together, that's pretty sweet, man. The biggest brains of the time, and he had books from China and other places like that, you know, allegedly. Yeah. But to have some of those big brains at that time, you know, no internet and everything, I'm sure plenty of people would have, you know, done what they could to get their hands on this stuff. And knowledge is power, you know.
What time did Ivan the Terrible rule for? Let's look at the dates on that.
Hold on. It's, let's see.
Ivan the Fourth.
I thought it would be right here. Here we go.
Yeah.
1533 to 1547. So this is right before, you know, like the King James version getting put in. This is right around like William Tyndale, the Bishop's Bible, the Great Translation. It's so funny to think that all that's happening at the same time, you know.
Then you have this library that's disappearing.
Yes, yes, exactly. Very interesting. I know all of our friends out there who are fans of Satan's Little Season, I know you guys are just cooking something up.
Yeah, for sure. I was thinking the same thing, but I wasn't going to bring it up. Yeah, there's a lot of that there. There's a lot of why did the library go? Why did it go missing? Because of Tartaria. You know, there's a lot of that.
Right.
Yeah. I actually think I sent something on this to you. I don't know if you have it pulled up or not.
Mm-hmm.
What do we have up next? Let's see.
Rumored the last person to access Ivan the Terrible's Golden Library, buried deep under Moscow. Some say the lost fragments of Heraclitus resides within.
Let's pull those pictures up.
Interesting. The Apostle, 1564, by Ivan. One of the first Russian printed books. It's out in the public domain. Let's see, so Christopher von Dobolov, I'm sure I butchered that, a 19th century historian, claimed to have seen a list of titles from the missing collection. He said that the list included 142 volumes of Titus Livius's History of Rome. Historians are currently only familiar with 35 of them, a full version of Cicero's De Republica. Only fragments were preserved in Western libraries, and an unknown poem by Virgil, to name but a few. Certainly a collection worth seeking, although a fact that undermines the credibility of the claim is that Don, I'm assuming it's Dabilov, did not show the supposed list to anyone else. It's thought that Ivan the Terrible decided to keep the priceless documents in the basement of the Moscow Kremlin so as to protect them from the fires that frequently ravaged the city during that time. These documents, however, were not left there to collect dust. It is said that Ivan had them translated from their original language to Russian. One legend even stated that the scholars refused to continue the task of translating these works as they feared that the Tsar would use the knowledge gained from certain black magic texts to terrorize the subjects. And see, that's what's interesting, is I didn't read this part right here on the Wikipedia. It says that Ivan IV cursed the libraries before his death, causing blindness to those that came close to locating the books. Ivan attempted to have scholars translate the ancient texts in order to gain knowledge of black magic. So that's kind of some of the legends there. It's what that's under, is legends. That's not necessarily...
I wonder what the basis for that is.
I mean, I don't know. At that time, though, there was so much going on with that type of stuff. I mean, not too long after this, we have King James, who wrote an entire book on demonology, or at least, you know, his name is on the author title for that book for demonology. I don't know, man. I think something was going on around that time. I'm not going to sit here and claim to know what, but something was going on, otherworldly type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Around that time period, there's a lot going on, man.
Yes, yes. This comes in from World History Facts. It says, Ivan the Terrible's library is one of the greatest mysteries of history. Kings, dictators, archaeologists have researched for it, but no one has seen it. What was in it, and where did it go? According to legend, Byzantine princess Sophia Palionia, grandmother of Ivan the Terrible, bought a secret library. Oh, she brought it to Moscow. She saved Constantinople's treasures after its fall in 1453. It may have been one of the richest ancient text collections ever. And so, when I hear Constantinople, I mean, I hate to go like super deep off into the deep end in the rabbit hole, because I don't know how many people here know us or we know them or whatever. But man, when you think of Constantinople in that area, I think of powerful magic. I think of deeply rooted, well knowledgeable esotericism is what I think of. This is me personally, but I'm sure they had plenty of knowledge there for architecture, mathematics, science, whatever. But Ivan IV was sorry.
Yeah, they had tons of stuff there, man. I mean, that's where the East met the West. So if you were going to have a library or a collection of text or anything, I imagine right there in Constantinople would have been a great place, because you're right there at the bridge between Europe and Asia.
Right.
So, I mean, if anybody's traveling that, that route, they're bringing text and knowledge and everything else through there. And with that being the center of the Eastern Roman Empire and, the Roman Empire in general,
right,
at that time, then yeah, you would think that would be a treasure trove of information and artifacts, and I mean, just anything you could imagine that would come through there.
Yeah, I would think so too. And even if we're not going to go on the route, which of course I want it to be that special route of esoteric and something magical, something cool, for the sake of just having a fun topic to talk about. Even if it wasn't, though, I mean, back then, and really even now, knowledge is so powerful. The things you can do with it. If you've got better math and better science and better engineering, you can make better weapons and better buildings and better, tanks, whatever else.
Knowledge is so powerful. Just think about, just in our modern time, think about what that guy from Boeing knew that they killed him. The whistleblower.
Right.
Look at the girl for Epstein Island that just got hit by a bus and then magically committed suicide.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, knowledge is very powerful. If you know things or you have things, the powerful elites will go to no end to retrieve that information.
Absolutely, man. That is a fact.
Ross,
that is a fact.
I think I found that the Chinese library that I had heard about. I sent it to the email, man. I sent it up top just in case anybody was curious.
I was really worried you were gonna try and spell it for me. I was like, please don't do
No,
this to
no,
me.
no. That's why when she said it, I was like, that doesn't sound familiar at all, but I know about a library that was buried.
All right, so here we go. Here's a little rabbit hole for us, a little sidetrack. The majority of surviving Dunhuang manuscripts were kept in a cave, the so-called Library Cave 17, which had been walled off sometime early in the 11th century. The documents in the cave were discovered by the Taoist monk Wang Yep, who was interested in restoring the Magao caves on the 25th of June 1900. Very cool. So in the next few years, he took some manuscripts to show to various officials. They had some interest, but in 04, Wang resealed the cave, following an order by the governor, concerned about the cost of transporting these documents. That...
Right.
Yeah... Yeah, that doesn't add... I'm not even Chinese, and that doesn't add up to me. I mean...
Even if you were Chinese, it wouldn't add up.
No, bro, that's silly. Looking from the outside in, it's like... You guys, in particular, are a culture that really... what's the word? Honors, highly esteems knowledge and books and heritage and culture and stuff. Even if you didn't have the cost to transport it, or the funds to transport it, why seal it back up? And forgive me for being, brass, but it's not like you guys were never using like indentured servitude or slave labor before. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why you wouldn't have just,
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to be nice about it, but
Let's scroll down just a tick.
sorry. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I wanted to show that for sure. And then go down some on the main page.
Uh-huh.
Right there, that page. Go up.
Yep.
Yeah, right there on the right. That one there, then the black and white. Perfect. Yeah, let's check that out.
Very interesting.
Here's the scrolls and all that. And then I guess that would be a Buddha in the background, I think.
I guess so.
Yeah. And then look at the walls, man.
Yeah, check this out. You see the people on the walls? Look what's around their heads.
Yeah. Is that a serpent?
It looks like sunshine to me. Looks just like
I
how
can't
you...
tell, man. Can we zoom in a little?
You might be able to see it zoomed in. I don't think the viewer will. Let me try. Hold on. Computer is loading. And zoomed. Can you see that better?
It didn't do anything.
Yeah, okay.
It's
All right.
okay. It's okay. I wanted to get in there and check it out, man. But
Yeah, no, it looks exactly the type of like sunshine you would draw around the head of like a saint in like a stained glass church window, which is...
I was thinking more like Egyptian reliefs.
There's that, yeah, for sure.
That's why I was curious if it was a serpent. My eyes
Mm-hmm.
aren't the best, guys, so I can't tell. But yep, that was a little side quest for you guys. So
Yeah, that's
can we
fun.
show what that cave is called in case anybody wants to do the research on that?
Sure.
One more time, the Dunhuang manuscripts.
Yes. Religious and secular documents. Okay, that's interesting. I was wondering what they're made out of. Hemp and silk paper. Woodblock printed text. I was curious to know what they put their ink on back then. Very, very cool. Okay. So we're on here, this thread. Ivan IV was obsessed with knowledge. He ordered the translation of the old texts from Greek and Latin. The library seems to have kept Aristotle's treatises, alchemical manuscripts, ancient maps, gospels on parchment. But then, silence. The library vanishes. Where did it go? Hidden in the dungeons beneath the Kremlin, destroyed in one of Moscow's great fires, taken away during the time of troubles? No one knows for sure. Who was looking for her? Peter the Great, NKVD, don't know who that is. Hitler, yeah, there he is. Yeah, I knew he'd be on
We
this list
figured that
somewhere.
would be the case. Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah. Archaeologists in the 2000s. They dug, searched, and explored under the Kremlin in vain. Did Hitler make it that far? Did he make it to the Kremlin?
No, I don't believe so.
I didn't think so. There are old references that the books of the Tsars are in the dungeon and the boyars are afraid to touch them. Yeah, because they'll go blind. There's a curse. Whether
Right.
this is... Yeah. But the legend is alive and many still believe that they are there underground. Ivan the Terrible's library is not just books. It is a symbol of the lost heritage of Byzantium and Rus if it exists, it's a treasure of global importance. And if it's a myth, it still inspires. Yeah, I would love to at least, especially those gospel texts they have. That's really, really fun. Really fun. Gospel texts from Byzantium it's not like they're super rare amongst all the texts out there, but it would be nice to have.
Yeah, I mean, any text is better than not having it. The more you have, the better.
So yes, definitely the better. Very interesting. Looks a bit like a halo. Yeah, it kind of does, Sean. It did kind of look a little bit like a halo, doesn't it? I was thinking kind of like that aura ring of light that comes off of the heads. Very interesting. Here comes a clip. This comes from okay. Ivan the Terrible's lost library is in St. Basil's Cathedral beneath the tower. Here's the cliff notes on how I worked this out. Ivan the Terrible had a hidden library. Ivan the Terrible built St. Basil's Cathedral. Okay, and the only people known to have seen the library were I have no sound on this. Oh, there we go.
So I can find stuff. I can find anything I want to, right? So I started looking for lost libraries today. I mean, I found Atlantis, and then I found the Hall of Records for Atlantis and the Giza Plateau. It's underneath the left paw of the second Sphinx. So this morning I started looking for other libraries, and first thing the Lord led me to was Ivan the Terrible's lost library. Now, I did 5 minutes of research on this, and I mean, I already know where it is because I already found the com, but here was my thought process. All right, Ivan the Terrible built a library hidden somewhere. He also built St. Basil's Cathedral, and the only people who ever saw the library was a bishop and a pope. So the library is under the cathedral. So what I had to do was go get a picture of the cathedral so that I could find the com that tells me what part of the cathedral the library is under, which I did. So here's the com. This will be where the Ivan the Terrible's library is hidden at. So there we go. Everybody have a good day. I'll find something else to do, and God bless the world. Talk to you later. Ivan the Terrible's lost library is in St. Basil's Cathedral beneath this tower. The Lord my Father showed me one com in this image of St. Basil's Cathedral, which I marked up. This com says, Ivan the Terrible's lost library is in St. Basil's Cathedral beneath this tower. I'll leave it up to humanity and the angels and Lord, praise God, to work out the details and implications. Sincerely, Jesus.
Well, that dude apparently thinks he's Jesus.
Yeah, he... We're going to the comment section on this one.
Yeah. Connor said, I can find things. Can he find a barbershop though?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, that dude was wild, man, but it was one of the only few people that were saying anything that was different.
Yeah, but honestly, we can pick, we can poke, and the jokes write themselves, but at the same time...
Let's look at, like, he made it look crazy. Let's look at St. Basil's Cathedral.
Let's do it.
Let's look at it.
Yeah, because if indeed Ivan the Terrible was involved in construction and only 3 people went under there, I mean, whatever's under there has been a secret for 3 people, and that's it.
All right.
Dog, is that really what it looks like in person?
Yeah, man.
What?
This is one of the Tartaria buildings.
I always assumed what I was looking is I've seen pictures of it in Tartaria videos on YouTube, but I always assumed that they were like hyper saturating and contrasting it.
Let's pull up pictures of it, man. Like, bring up one big so everybody can appreciate the beauty of it. It's beautiful, man.
Try to find one that's really cool looking.
At the very top, son.
Goodness gracious. There's that. That's pretty. Wow, wow, wow. It doesn't look real. We're off to see the wizard. It doesn't look real.
Right.
Goodness gracious me. Okay. Alright, can I do just a little bit of nerd nut real quick? How long did it take to build it?
Well, let's pull the Wikipedia for it because I think that'll tell you.
Yeah, it's
in
probably a
there.
good idea.
And I want to see about the builders and what all at least the mainstream narrative is behind the place. So let's check that out real quick, and then we'll move on to our next one in a minute, guys. Is there a Wikipedia for it?
There's a Britannica.
Yeah,
oh no,
perfect.
that's for Saint Basil himself. Hold on. And here we are. Okay, wow, this is such a short Wikipedia article for something so old and grand. Goodness. St. Basil's Cathedral, also known as the Cathedral of Intercession, is a very famous cathedral in Moscow, Russia. It is officially known as the Cathedral of the Intercession of the Most Holy Theotokos on the Moat. It was commissioned by Ivan IV for St. Basil the Blessed. It is in the area called Red Square. It was built 1555 to 1561. Okay, so it took them a little bit of time there to make it, 6 years. The cathedral is 8 distinctive onion-shaped towers.
Napoleon took it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Stalin also ordered it to be destroyed.
It interfered with parades.
Objective was sent to the Gulag.
Yeah, that's insane. But the demolition was canceled. The city of Moscow also caught fire numerous times, and the cathedral wasn't spared. Even so, it still stands to this very day. Unbelievable.
So if Napoleon, see, I think Napoleon is a big key with this old world stuff too.
I think so too.
I think we're gonna have to do a deep dive on Napoleon.
Forms an 8-point star. Yeah, I've often thought about the same thing. I think it's a good idea to take a look at that. Wow.
So that's where that crazy looking dude is saying it's buried underneath there, and Ivan the Terrible did commission that place.
Maybe he's on to something,
know.
man. You never know, bro. He
Never
could.
know.
It's a mystery, but wow. Is there any way you can get a picture quality up? The highest I can get on my end is 360. You are not the first person to complain to me about that.
What's going on?
Talking to Sean, for some reason, I've had issues getting all of my streams for Solar Switch and everything to be up higher than. Let me try this there, Sean. Hold on one second, my friend.
Did he say we're coming through at 320?
360, yeah. And again, this is not the,
360? Oh.
yeah, this isn't the first time I've had that complaint, and I cannot figure out how to fix it. What I did just now should help, but just let me know, my friend.
I don't know, man. You look pretty good at me.
Yeah, hold on. Let me. Sorry, this will take just like 5 seconds. Yeah, mine's not going up higher than 360 either, Sean.
We'll have to work on it for the next time.
Yeah,
man.
for sure. Yeah.
We'll get it better, guys. We
For
promise.
some reason, that just happens every once in a while, and I can change my bit rate, and that helps. But yeah, I apologize about that, man. This actually, my computer itself has given me some issues over the last couple of weeks. I need to figure something out with this. So that's gonna go up on priority there, my friend. All right, so
bro, so hold on before we get into this.
What's up?
Yeah, I'm about to say we're about to get into the next library here.
Right.
All right, so I believe this is the Library of Nineveh, correct?
Yes.
All right. right, just make sure we set it up the same way. Let's go ahead and get to this clip and check out our next library, guys.
Let's see it.
Lost to time.
If you have anything on
Buried under the sands after the fall.
Ivan Terrible, please. If you have anything on Ivan the Terrible, please put it in the chat or message us, because we're looking into doing a full episode on the library and Ivan Terrible himself.
Yeah.
Imagine stepping into a world over 2,500 years old, where the flickering light of oil lamps illuminates rows upon rows of cuneiform tablets. This is the Library of Nineveh, a marvel of ancient Assyria under King Ashurbanipal's reign. Located in modern-day Iraq, it housed the collective wisdom of Mesopotamia, storing thousands of clay tablets and cylinder seals, each inscribed with texts on medicine, astronomy, literature, and history. Among its treasures was the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of humanity's oldest known literary works. Sadly, this cradle of knowledge was lost to time, buried under the sands after the fall of Nineveh in 612 BC. Its rediscovery in the 19th century offered a rare glimpse into a sophisticated civilization, reminding us of the timeless pursuit of knowledge. Imagine stepping into a world over 2,500 years old.
I think we got one more clip on the same thing here.
All right, let's check it out. No, here's our guys again.
Yep. Now this is a 10-minute clip, so we're just gonna kind of filter our way through this.
You guys ever hear about the lost
I
library of
think you
Nineveh?
a shorter version.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I believe so.
I do not see it.
Here you go. It's coming through to you right now. I'll read some.
Imagine.
Very cool.
Got it?
Here it is.
Perfect.
You guys ever hear about the lost library of Nineveh?
No, I have not.
So Ashurbanipal was the last great king of the Neo-Assyrian Empire, ruling from Nineveh from 668 to 627 BC.
Ooh, that's
this
forever
dude
ago.
was obsessed with understanding everything, and so he founded this library in Nineveh, which wasn't discovered until the mid-19th century by a British archaeologist, Austin Henry Layard, and he found over 30,000 tablets.
Whoa.
That's where we found the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Oh my god.
Really?
But
Okay,
what's
I didn't know that.
fascinating is that the stuff that they did find rewrote a lot of Middle Eastern history, because they talked about old war campaigns, kings that no one has ever heard of.
Wow.
But then there's thousands of these tablets talking about advanced astrology. They said in today's standards is still very advanced.
That's amazing.
And what's creepy, Ashurbanipal claimed to possess access to knowledge from before the flood, suggesting he may have been aware of ancient, perhaps lost or suppressed knowledge. And this is a quote from, "I have studied inscriptions from before the flood. I can solve intricate divisions, multiplications, mathematics, and writing." And then he said, "I have read the secret tablets of the gods."
The Watchers?
I mean,
golly, dude.
so that got me thinking. I'm like, he said he was a divine king,
Yeah.
and that the Assyrian gods are the true mighty gods. No other god can stand against the Assyrian gods. But then you think like, okay, well, God, was he also like, I don't want you people to read these? You guys ever hear about the lost library
Wow.
of Nineveh?
No, I have.
What the heck is
Yeah.
going on here, man?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, man. We got some really good threads about this too, man. So if we want to check those out, we can go through those too.
Yeah, let's take a look at that, because being able to... Oh, Sean, you didn't mess up my flow, man. You were all good. You were all good. I'm so used to nonsense taking place, man. We stream 3 times a week, so every time we stream, something goes awry. So it's no big deal, my friend. We're going to get that taken care of. Blue Checks Matter says, the Lost Library of Nineveh. I can sit around and talk about stuff like this all day. I would rather see people posting about these subjects and topics rather than arguing about which politician is better than the next idiot. If they were to actually teach this type of knowledge in schools, I guarantee you would have a 90% attention increase, maybe more. Yeah, exactly. That's probably true. This might be
man.
Yeah, this is the clip you sent. Whoops, okay, got you. Yeah. Wow. So the Library of Ashurbanipal, which is cool. Ashur is, one of the gods of Assyria anyway. The Royal Library of Ashurbanipal, named after Ashurbanipal, the last great king of the Assyrian Empire, is a collection of more than 30,000 clay tablets and fragments. They got the Epic of Gilgamesh. Alright, history's most precious source of historical material in the world. The materials were found in the archaeological site, ancient Nineveh, the capital of Assyria, in northern Mesopotamia. This site is modern-day northern Iraq within the city of Mosul. The library is an archaeological discovery credited to Henry Layard. Most tablets were taken to England and can now be found in the British Museum, but the first discovery was made in the late 1849 in the so-called Southwest Palace, which was the royal palace of King Sennacherib. 3 years later, wow, this is so interesting. Okay, Layard's assistant discovered a similar library in the place of King Ashurbanipal on the opposite side of the mound. Unfortunately, no record was made of the findings, and soon after reaching Europe, the tablets appeared to have been irreparably mixed, oh no, with each other and with tablets originating from other sites. Thus, it is almost impossible today to reconstruct the original content of each of the... Why does this always happen? Why does this always happen? You've got one job.
Yeah, we had the technology, but we accidentally destroyed it.
Every time. The Van Allen belt gets us every time.
Man, we had these great buildings, but that great fire took them out. Where? Everywhere.
Right.
Great fire in every city. Every great library lost. It's beyond convenient, man.
Unbelievable. So Ashurbanipal was known as a tenacious martial commander. However, he was also recognized intellectual who was literate and a passionate collector of texts and tablets. In collecting texts for his library, he wrote to cities and centers of learning across Mesopotamia, instructing them to send him copies of all work written in the region. As an apprentice scribe, he mastered both the Akkadian and the Sumerian languages. Wow. Let's see. He used war loots as a means of stocking his library. He was known for being cruel to his enemies and was able to use threats to gain materials from Babylonia and surrounding areas. What's interesting is that Sennacherib...
Send me your final text.
Yeah, exactly. Send me the text, yeah. Sennacherib is someone who is mentioned in the Bible. I'm trying really hard to think. Now, the name Ashur is used for Assyria many times, and one of the gods of Assyria is named Ashur. And I'm curious to know where his reference may be in the Bible, if he gets one or not. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
Let's pull up the Wikipedia for Ashurbanipal. Let's see if he is ever referenced.
Sure.
His name's right there at Current Contents. There we go.
Let's see.
Ashur is the creator of the air, is what his name means. So it is after the god Ashur for sure.
Let's see. Those sometimes are guarded. Ancient Near East. Let's see if it's got any spouse, issue, dynasty. Sargon. Yeah, he's from the Sargonid dynasty. I bet you he has some type of reference in the Bible. He just goes by some type of different name. Because Sargon is also mentioned in the Bible, of course. Wow, isn't this amazing? Can you just not go down these rabbit holes forever and ever and ever? He defeated the Cushite pharaoh Taharq the first time Egypt had been under Assyrian rule. Okay, so if this is the first time Egypt had been under Assyrian rule, this is probably right around the same time that the northern house of Israel went under Assyrian captivity as well. Assyrian,
hey, brother?
Yeah.
Real quick, man. What's going on with X?
What you mean?
Are we not streaming there anymore?
Hold on, let me cut this over here real quick so I don't leak any personal information. Yeah, we've lost connection to X.
Sorry, guys, on X. Sorry, let's just keep rolling, brother.
Yeah, I'll try to get it back.
Tonight's been a rough one, man.
Yeah, we had some storms over here, and sometimes the internet can really take effect from that. We're back live to X right now, so that's a good thing. Let's see, it says sending data over there. Yeah, okay, we should be live on there now. Nope, we lost it. Unable to connect. Something's wrong with it.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, always an issue when streaming. Never fails.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, brother. What else do we have on the Nineveh library? I think we got some good threads and maybe another.
Let's see. A thread on the Great Library of King Ashurbanipal, discovered in the ruins of Nineveh, the first universal library, the source of our first story and a lost wonder of the ancient world. Ashurbanipal was the last great king of the Assyrian Empire, which covered the area of modern Iraq and Syria. He ruled from 668 to 627 BCE and oversaw the golden age of an empire spanning the known world. A younger brother, Ashurbanipal, was never meant to be king. From a young age, he was trained in priestly arts such as oil divination, liver reading, mathematics reading. Oh, okay. I know this story. Oh, this is coming back to me now. When his brother, the crown prince, died, Ashurbanipal was chosen as next in line for the throne. Because of this, he became the first Assyrian king to boast an ability to read. This is all coming back to me now. Reading doesn't seem to have been considered a very kingly activity in the Assyrian Empire. It was confined to a priestly and scribal class. Kings usually stuck to more kingly activities like riding a chariot and hunting lions. Ashurbanipal seems to have been proud of his unique ability. In one inscription he boasts, "All the art of writing of every kind, I made myself the master of them all." He also boasts about reading ancient texts written before the flood. Alright, here we go. This is very interesting. Reading texts before the deluge. I, Ashurbanipal, within the palace, understood the wisdom of Nabu, the god of learning. All the art of writing of every kind, I made myself the master of them all. I read the cunning tablets of Sumer and the dark Akkadian language, which is difficult to rightly use. I took my pleasure in reading stones inscribed before the flood, the best of scribal art, such work as none of the kings who went before me ever had learned. Remedies from the top of the head to the toenails, non-canonical selections, clever teachings, whatever pertains to the medical mastery of the gods, Ninurta and Gala, I wrote on tablets, checked and collected and deposited within my place for pursuing and reading. Wow, 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 so interesting. So interesting. It's impossible.
You know, what's really interesting is how he is like the high priest and the king. Basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, he has all the power of the king and all the knowledge of the priestly class and the scribal class.
Right.
Man, getting a hold of his library would be incredible, man. Because you can tell by his writings, he has a love for knowledge. And a pursuit for it. So he probably used every means of his power to pursue these texts and pursue knowledge and store them in this library.
More than likely.
Oh man, what a find.
Yeah, no doubt. It's impossible to know whether Ashurbanipal was as erudite and scholarly as he boasts, but what's interesting is that he clearly holds the written word in high regard. This led him to gathering together all the tablets he could find in all the languages of the world. By the time of his death, 627 BCE, Ashurbanipal amassed a vast collection of over 30,000 tablets in his library. Let's see, the library also included stone prisms, cylinder seals, wax wooden writing boards, and parchment. Wow, check out that picture. The majority of the tablets were administrative, including laws and letters, contracts, and financial agreements. However, a great deal of them also dealt with divinations, omens, incantations, and hymns to various gods, as well as medicine, astronomy, and literature. Yeah, we saw that. He made people bring him new stuff. He wanted anything that was old and rare and not already in Assyria. He demanded the original rather than copies. Very interesting. You know, I'm sure he wanted to have copies of the Torah as well. The tablets were often organized. Wait, I wonder if he would consider the Torah to be, or at least like Genesis. I wonder if he would consider Genesis to be pre-flood. I doubt it. The tablets were often organized according to the shape of contents of the text. For example, four-sided tablets contained information on finances, and round tablets contained information on agriculture. Okay, very cool. That's so cool. The tablets would have been stored on shelves like these from another library found in the ruins of Sapar. Wow. Wow. How interesting. Only a small amount of texts were works of literature. Among them were the creation story, the myth of Adapa, the first man, and stories such as Poor Man of Nippur. The library also held the Epic of Gilgamesh, a masterpiece of ancient Babylonian poetry and the world's first story. Wow. Yeah, we're all familiar with Gilgamesh. Wow. It makes you wonder,
there it is, there at the bottom. Go down.
Right there?
There it is. Yeah.
It was destroyed when the Assyrian Empire collapsed and was overrun by its enemies. The city of Nineveh was sacked so thoroughly that it was still an abandoned ruin when Xenophon marched past it 200 years later, which he writes about in his Anabasis. Goodness gracious. Yeah, there's Layered, yeah, and this is where they found their 30,000 books. Unbelievable. So we have that story of Noah. It's not biblically recorded, but there's other books about him getting that text of medicinal herbs and things like that, that the angels teach him how to use medicine. I wonder...
Oh, I'll tell you what, man. We have two little things right here. Let's cover the rest of what we have for this, the Nineveh library. And then let's break it up a little bit. We have a list of the 25 most beautiful libraries in the world.
Right.
And then we can also pull up, I believe that's in Jubilees, correct, with the medicinal stuff. Let's pull that text and look at it.
I think so.
So, what else do we have for Nineveh here? And then we'll look at those two things before we get into the Vatican archive and get into our final library of the night, the Library of Alexandria.
Check that out. That's here for Nineveh. This is though as many tablets as they, I guess, have stored. That's beautiful, man. Unbelievable. Alright, so our next one is this is a puzzle and cuneiform tablet that many scientists have studied for over a century. It's called Suggests Ancient Knowledge of the Koful Impact Event. Unearthed in King Ashurbanipal's underground library in Nineveh, Iraq, around 650 BC, the circular stone tablet was initially thought to be Assyrian. However, recent computer analyses have traced its origin to the skies over the skies over Mesopotamia and 3,300 BC, confirming its actual Sumerian origins. Functioning as an astrolabe, I think I'm saying that right, this artifact stands as the earliest known astronomical tool, featuring a segmented disc-shaped star chart with angular measurements inscribing along its circumference. What the heck, man? How did you even...
Well, hold on one second. Didn't they just say the circular tablets were agricultural?
Yeah, they did.
So is this for planting, and is this like an almanac?
I was thinking something similar. Yeah, I don't think this would have been for sailing. I do know that
it's going off of what they just said, that the circular ones were agriculture. So I wondered if this was like an almanac.
Yeah, I'm thinking something similar.
Right.
What blows my mind, bro, is that little circle thing is barely smaller than the palm, or it's a little bigger than the palm of his hand. Look at all the detailed inscriptions that went on this thing. I don't even think I could do that on a piece of paper. You know what I mean?
It goes back to what I was talking about in some of our older episodes about how I believe that we're devolving from the spark of creation.
Right.
I mean, the eyesight and the coordination with your hands you would need for that. If you look at some of the Sumerian stones, like from like that people claim are from Nimrod, like the writing is so intricate and so small on that you need a magnifying glass to translate it. You know what I mean?
Unreal.
The eyesight of the ancient man must have been incredible.
Right. Exactly right. Bro, look at how straight the lines are.
Yeah. Even after all these years.
Right.
Everything's stayed.
Wow, I am blown away. I cannot believe that. That's just insane. What an interesting thing to find. They're saying that's the modern reproduction of the Sumerian star map. So the 5,500-year-old Sumerian star map, also known as Khufu's Impact Event Tablet, a remarkable ancient artifact that has puzzled scholarship. Yeah, okay. We just read that. During the late 19th century, this cuneiform clay tablet was initially thought to be of Assyrian. Yep, we found that out, 3300. Okay, the tablet's significance lies in its potential documentation of the Khufu's impact event, a catastrophic asteroidal air bust over what is now Austria. This discovery suggests that ancient Sumerian astronomers may have recorded and interpreted celestial events. Wow. With a level of sophistication far beyond what was previously assumed. Unreal. You'll have to forgive me for yawning, guys. I was up till 3 a.m. last night and got back up at 8 o'clock today. 2 days in a row I've done that. I'm tired. Wow, man. That is so cool. Unreal.
All right, so we're at the Vatican now, man. So let's go ahead and break it up a little bit. Let's show some of those libraries, and then let's show that section in Jubilees.
Sure. So this is the libraries that are supposed to be the most magnificent temples of learning. These are 25 most beautiful examples on Earth. This is the Trinity College Library in Dublin, Ireland. Jeez Louise, man. That looks like a movie. Unreal.
Beautiful.
What is going on with that?
Wow.
Jeez Louise.
That's in Germany?
Yes, you could eat off the floors. Look at how clean it is in there.
I mean, just the colors. I mean, it's magnificent, man.
Insane. Wow. You could just sit here and just look at all that just to figure out what all the... Wow. I've never seen that before in my life. That is so cool. I didn't know that existed.
Gorgeous, right?
Yeah, I had no idea that was a thing. Wow. The Abbey Library of St. Gall in St. Gallen, Switzerland.
Look at that ceiling.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Insane. Well, even just some of these rafters here, the way these things come up, this is just... Goodness. You see libraries like this in like movies and stuff, man, but you never think that it's real. It's, goodness gracious. There's the Vatican, the Apostolic Library.
Yeah, this is what we'll be covering next, guys.
The black and white floors, just saying. New York Public Library, New York City, USA. Oh, that is nice. Yeah, look at the ceilings in there. Okay, I didn't know that. It's not as cool as the one in Germany, though, man. That one in Germany is insane. Naples, Italy. Goodness. Some of the detailed work, man. National Library of Austria. Wow.
Can we pull that up too?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
Yeah, the one. Yeah, I think we're not giving that one the kind of credit we needed. Oh man, look at that.
It looks like you could ascend into the ceiling, man. It's just the level of dude, I can barely even draw beyond a stick figure. I can't imagine. That's just insane.
Gorgeous, man.
The Library of Parliament, Ottawa, Canada.
R.I.P.
I would say it doesn't move me. Medan Abbey Library in Germany. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're donezo.
Oh man, where's that at?
Germany.
Germany again. Good lord, the Germans and Austrians got it, man. Look how beautiful.
Unreal.
Man.
The Joanina Library in Portugal.
Ooh.
Wow. I don't even know how to describe the feeling I'm getting looking at these things. It's like it doesn't feel real. It feels like it doesn't feel, I don't know.
It's like something out of like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or something.
Yeah, something like that. Whoa. Portugal again.
Is that Portugal?
Yeah. Jeez, man. Can you imagine being the architect that gets to... Say that again?
No, okay. The play. Beautiful.
Here's New York City. Morgan Library.
Looks like two eyes looking at you.
Yeah, it does. The Royal Library of San Lorenzo, Madrid, Spain.
And ooh, look at that.
Unreal, man.
Yeah, let's bring that up, bro. With the gold. Oh my goodness. Wow.
I don't understand where the lighting is even coming from.
Oh man, that is absolutely gorgeous.
How is this room lit? I don't understand. I don't see any
It
windows.
looks like
that
the
are
lights
high.
are all on top of the bookcases.
These little ball things? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I'm thinking.
Here's Czech Republic.
Oh, it's in Prague. Oh, look at that. Gorgeous.
The National Library of France. Humongous, man. I'm sure the pictures just don't do it justice on just how huge they are. Venice, Italy. John Rylands Research Institute, Manchester, England. Goodness.
Good lord. Absolutely beautiful.
One that's Austria again. Here goes Germany. This isn't too far away from where our brother lives. Unreal. France. Czech Republic. Goodness gracious me. Golly. It's insane, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's Prague as well. Oh, in Baltimore? Really?
Loki looks.
Baltimore?
Yeah, that's not a real picture, I don't think.
I think that no, that's real, man.
It looks kind of comic booky to me. I don't know. It doesn't look real. Am I
think
tripping?
That's real, man. George Peabody? I think that's real.
This is Austria again. Yo, Austria and Germany's got it going on, bro. There's something's up with them and their architecture.
Oh my goodness! Look at that.
Yeah,
the purples and the
pinks
blues
is
and the
insane,
white.
bro.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That may be my favorite, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah, the pinks that's off the chain. This is Portuguese. This is Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Wow. Kind of tricky. Unreal, man. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Wow.
And then in Jubilees, we're looking for Jubilees 10, I believe.
Connor says, yes, it is. I've been there. You're talking about that library that I thought was a cartoon? Huh. Yeah, okay, yeah. You're talking about the George Peabody Library in Baltimore. Yeah, there it is. Very cool. Oh, yeah, Diverse and Jubilees. Right. Here, let me get rid of some of these tabs here so I can move appropriately. Alright, so what is it? What would you call it? Noah's Book of Medicine, I guess?
Yeah, I believe it's in Jubilees 10, but I'm going through it right now just to make sure.
Alright, here we go. Let's see if I can find it on page real quick. Jubilee. Yeah. All right, it's Jubilees chapter 10, verse 12.
All right. Let's pull this up.
Jubilees 10, verse 12. I'd like to have sacred text. Yeah, here we go. Okay. 10, verse 12.
Right
Goodness
now,
gracious. I guess we just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't think this is right. Granted, usually some people in Jubilee, what they call 10 is different. God shall enlarge
Right.
Japheth. Yeah, it's kind of tricky. Oh no. Okay, we'll try this one.
Yeah, it's next to impossible to find it.
Yeah.
It's protection would be your best bet, probably.
You said what now?
Sacred text will be your best bet.
Yeah. Alright, well, let's look at our contents real quick. This shouldn't be too hard to figure out. Noah's going to be alive, so we had the patriarchs from Adam to Noah, the fall of the angels and their punishment, building the ark and the flood, Noah's sacrifice, God's covenant with him. Let's see if it's this one. And then, what would be the word? Medicine or herbs? Let's see, find on page. Herbs. Here we go. As the green herb, no, all things for food as the green herbs I've given you to eat. Let's see. Nope. These are the type of things that get edited out of those long videos you guys see on YouTube. There's moments like these where we're trying to find this verse, and it's just like
It's a Jubilee sin. It says, and we explained to Noah all the medicines of their diseases together with their seductions, and how he might heal them with the herbs of the earth. And Noah wrote down all the things in a book as we instructed him concerning every kind of medicine. Thus evil spirits were precluded from hurting the sons of Noah.
Right. That's
And
right.
that would be Jubilees 10:12.
Yeah, very interesting, man. I've always wanted to, if that book exists, man, I would have loved to have at least gotten my hands on it. He said, never read the Jubilees, says Sean. I'm starting to think it's essential reading for the viewers on this channel. We use it a lot. Yeah, we use it a lot. It's just interesting is all.
Yes, it has the divisions of the earth, and we're in Genesis so much, and we talk about the divisions of the earth so much,
right,
that we keep going back to that. Jubilees has a lot of good stuff in it, man. A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I imagine when we get into other books, Sean, like Revelation, Isaiah, the Gospels, or the epistles, anything else, we probably won't be using it as much. But because we're in Genesis all the time doing that cover to cover, chapter by chapter commentary, it pops up a lot. I've actually personally only read Jubilees once. You know what I mean? It's not like a book I've been through a whole bunch of times, you know?
In the past few years, I've been through it several times, man, but just because doing the different studies that we've done over the years, Jubilees comes in handy.
Yeah.
Especially when we're looking for that book of medicine. As it said that Noah wrote down everything within that book of medicine.
Right.
Man, that would be fantastic to get your hands on. If that's anything that's in this Vatican archive here, I would think that medicinal book would be in that archive. That's something I would think would be in there.
Yeah, it's pre-flood.
And something that I think that would be invaluable that you never hear mentioned anywhere. Because in that verse it says he wrote everything down within a book. So if we could find that book of Noah that has the book of medicine in it, oh my goodness, how invaluable.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Put it on the copy machine and send all my copies to RFK Jr. Sean says, "Oh, I'm getting it. You guys are giving me homework." Yeah,
it's cool stuff, man. Really cool
it's
stuff.
a cool little book. Now, again,
I'll tell you what, Sean, if you want a recommendation, The God Culture did the Jubilee series. If you want to check his work out, man, that's definitely worth looking at into the Jubilee series about the God Culture. He really thinks highly of Jubilees, higher than we do. But that's a good one. If you're going for research after reading it, looking into what that guy says might be a good path for you, man.
Right. Yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, in case anybody's here that might not know us or do know us, I don't know. Always want to, whenever we're talking about books like this, want to make sure we're clear. We do not put it on the same level or higher than the canonical text of the scripture. I feel like that goes without saying, but just in case, we always want to make sure we put that out there, just so you know. We think it's a cool book, and I like it. I think it's pretty cool, but I don't put it up there with scripture. All right, so we've got the Library of the Vatican now. Here we go. So the Vatican. It's the Apostolic Archive, formerly known as the Vatican Secret Archive, and it is the central repository of the Vatican City of all acts promulgated by the Holy See. The Pope, as the sovereign of the Vatican City, owns the material held in the archive until his death or resignation, the ownership passing to his successor. The archive also
before we get too far into the Wikipedia, do we have a clip for this?
I think this is the one that we don't have one for. I've got for two of them for Alexandria, but I didn't see any clips for.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Oh, here's one. Hold on. Here's one.
The Vatican Church.
The Vatican.
And its apostolic.
Stop. Pause. The Vatican Apostolic Archive says 53 miles of shelving. Jeez Louise. Also known as the Vatican Secret Archives. Yeah, let's check that out.
Vatican Church and its apostolic archives, a veritable fortress of forbidden knowledge. Founded in 1612, the Vatican Apostolic Archives is home to over 53 miles worth of shelving in order to hold all of the knowledge that the Holy See has sequestered away over the centuries, and is not available in its full form to the public. It is not even available in its full form to scholars. You need to be a specific scholar within a specific discipline, and then you can make a specific request for a specific piece of information. You may be provided that information, but you are not provided anything outside of your requests. This is how the intelligence community operates with classified programs, silos and stovepipes, compartmented intelligence, special access programs. This is the same behavior being exhibited by the Vatican in relation to our own history. The Vatican Church and its apostolic archives, a veritable fortress of forbidden knowledge. Founded in 1612, the Vatican Apostolic Archives is home to over 53 miles worth of shelving.
53 miles worth of shelving, man. It's insane. Wow, 1.1 million books and 75,000 manuscripts. Unbelievable. It is gorgeous. Jeez Louise. Wow.
We're here in the Sala Barberini, and with me is Pietro Ruffo, who designed
that is the cleanest mic cover I've ever seen.
Of many thousands of books here with a very special motive.
Yes, here we are in the Sala Barberini, and I have decided to do this site-specific installation, creating a forest.
Hold on, I gotta see that secret handshake one more time.
Forest.
What's good, player?
The first visitor to the exhibition was Pope Francis, who inaugurated the space and said that the church must bear witness.
And that black and red robe kind of goes hard.
Dialoguing with unique thirst for the infinite that defines the human being.
Wow, that's so cool. That's one thing that I wish that Protestantism actually had a little bit more of, is really cool buildings like that. But yeah, most ancient significant Greek manuscript from the 4th century is the Codex Vaticanus, yeah. Yeah. The Galileo documents for heliocentrism, of course. What is this? The Barberini Gospels? An early medieval illuminated manuscript with lavish decorations? Does anybody know what this is?
That's beautiful.
Barberini Gospels? Is that just...
Pull it up real quick.
Hold on, can I copy
Can you hear
this?
me?
Yeah. I'm gonna try to copy this text.
Oh, go down and look in the comments to see if anybody put anything. It's interesting. No.
I'm assuming it's just the Gospels. No, Bronson, you messed that up. Hold on. This may be interesting to find out. Let's see what this is. The Barberini Gospels is an illuminated Hiberno-Saxon manuscript gospel book. Okay, so it's just has been largely ignored by the academic community until it became the subject of a doctoral dissertation in 2004. The illuminated canon, yeah, okay, so yeah, it's just the 4 Gospels. Okay, gotcha. Very interesting. Codex Borgia, a pre-Columbian pictorial manuscript with religious and ritual significance from Mesoamerica.
Ooh,
Mesoamerica. Yeah.
And they named it after the Borgias too, so it's probably got some real crazy stuff in there.
It looks like some crazy stuff in there. That's
if you don't know about the Borgias, please go look them up.
Sketches by Raphael designed for tapestries. Yeah, legendary. What are they doing with these babies? He's got a sword in his hand. The Sistine Choir books. Yeah. Well, that is one cool thing about Catholicism, man. It's easy to pick on, easy to bully, but man, do they have some history and some culture. The Joshua Roll. A Byzantine illuminated manuscript from the 10th century Macedonian Renaissance, likely crafted by artists from the imperial workshops of Constantinople. Man, that is just so interesting. So interesting. Beneath the Vatican City lies a library so secret it was once called Archivum Secretorum. It holds over 50 miles of shelves, thousands of years of history, and documents that changed the world. Here are 10 confirmed things that are inside of it. The heresy trial of Galileo, yeah. Excommunication of Martin Luther. A letter from Queen Mary of Scots. Ooh, interesting. Michelangelo's letter to the Vatican. A donation of Constantine. The bull Inter Caetera, issued by Pope Alexander VI. This document granted Spain control over newly discovered lands west of a line of the Atlantic. Okay, that has to do with America. The excommunication of Henry VIII after forming the Church of England and marrying Anne. Yeah, that's right, because he wanted to get a divorce and they wouldn't let him. So he's like, I'm going to start my own church. The Vatican's official record of the split that reshaped English religion is still preserved. Unbelievable. How cool is that? This is from 897 AD, the records of Cadaver Synod. Pope Stephen VI exhumed his predecessor, Pope whatever, dressed the corpse in papal robes and put him on trial. What? They tried a dead man?
That sounds like something Trump would do to Biden.
Sleepy Joe, he fell asleep during his court trial. That is insane, bro. Alright, we've already been on this one. There's absolutely no need for large private libraries like the one in the Vatican. Why are they gatekeeping ancient knowledge that belongs to humanity? After how many years do patents expire? This knowledge belongs to all of us. To apply the Vatican Library, you must provide valid ID, academic references, and proof of scholarly research or qualifications. Even if you meet the criteria, they can still deny her. Oh, it's very simple, like George Carlin said. It's a big club and you're not in it. Libraries' access is restricted due to the age and fragility of the books. You can easily access the digital library and can find 29,000 to 80,000 books. Okay. I mean, that's kind of cool. Wow.
So you can find less than half of the books that they admit they have.
Yeah, that they admit. Yeah, that they admit they have. Yeah. Wow. It's one of the most guarded sites in the world. Its protection is more serious than that of any existing nuclear power. Is that real? More than any power plant? In addition to numerous Swiss guards, the library is guarded by modern automatic systems that form several levels of security. The secret archives of the Vatican became known in 1611's KJV under Pope Paul V. Only a limited number of people could get in. Some scientists with a letter of recommendation can get into the Holy of Holies, but the entrance is regulated and allows 2 people per year. At the same time, the entrance to the archive does not imply free movement. Sorry, I hit the mic. Excuse me, guys. Free movement and access to any documents. The visitor indicates the topic of interest and the appropriate literature is selected. Wow, so it's not even like you get to go in there and just browse freely. This insularity raises questions and leads to theories about what the Vatican archives are really storing. Probably the Library of Ivan the Terrible and the Library of Alexandria are kept there. Wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me even the slightest if that were to be the case. Wow.
Yeah, the way it was put to me was that there were several centers of occult learning around the world, right?
Right.
And that over time, a lot of these libraries, like the one in Nineveh, Ivan the Terrible, all of these libraries were slowly destroyed to the point. Well, I guess Ivan the Terrible may have been, it was a little later, but in the ancient world, all these schools of the mystery knowledge of the mystery schools were all destroyed, and it ended up being there were only 2 houses of this occult knowledge, and there was one was at the Vatican in the Vatican Library, and the other was in Alexandria. And I would argue that Alexandria had more knowledge. It was the largest city in the world. There was, it was a port city. It was in the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire. I mean, it was, Alexandria was the deal. And eventually Alexandria was destroyed, and there was only one seat of occult knowledge remaining, that's public at least, and it's the only one that's remaining to the day. And that's the archives at the Vatican. That's the one that's publicly known, that has a lot of these old manuscripts and these old collections. And I think a lot of the questions that a lot of the people that watch this channel and that me and Bronson have, a lot of those questions would be answered with a trip through that archive.
Probably so. Probably so. Wow.
I have a feeling a lot of the Satan's Little Season people would enjoy that trip to the archive as well.
Yeah, back in the day, you remember when they were going to storm Area 51, there was a big joke going around talking about we need to storm the Vatican while we're at it.
Yeah, I'd rather storm the Vatican than Area 51, but that's just me.
Yeah, me too. And respectfully, I'm not there to burn it down. I just want to know what's in there.
Yeah.
Do you know humanity lost 1,000 years of genius in one fire? The Library of Alexandria wasn't just books. It held blueprints for rope.
You get it? All right, so we are going into our next library. This is our final library for tonight, the Library of Alexandria. Just wanted to give it a proper introduction. Go ahead, sir.
Deal.
Do you know humanity lost 1,000 years of genius in one fire? The Library of Alexandria wasn't just books. It held blueprints for robots, cures for plagues, and maps of the stars. But who burned it? Caesar? Christians? Muslims? Nobody agrees. Here's the wild part. Some scrolls survived, hidden in caves or sold as toilet paper. What secrets did we lose? Do you know humanity lost 1,000...
Bro, that's insane. Somebody said, ChatGPT, give me your best Morgan Freeman voice. Here it is. Whatever happened to the Library of Alexandria?
The wealthiest city in the world for a period of time, the largest city in the world for a period of time, and it was also a naval base for the Roman Empire. This place had fucking everything.
Ooh,
back
sorry,
in the
I
day.
didn't know
it
that.
would be like a London
Excuse
or New
us.
York of its time. Like any time they would conquer a place, they would find and take all of these different texts and bring them to Alexandria and have the people translate them. And it housed, I think, as many as 500,000 texts, because all the greatest minds in the world were living in this place at the time. And then it's like, well, what happened to it? It was destroyed 3 or 4 times. The wealthiest city in the world for a period of time, the largest city in the world for a period of time.
Get another F-bomb. Yeah. It's very interesting about the Library of Alexandria because it seems like it was a place. This is something I've actually have taken time to learn a thing or two about. That you had so many of the greatest minds there. Is that they seem to have been battling with each other, kind of like how we talk about the Talmud as a commentary on a commentary on a commentary. That many people in the Library of Alexandria were different authors that were going back and forth, arguing and giving different opinions and ideas on similar belief styles. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh, I got a dog over here. What's up, buddy?
Hey. All right, so the library. Sorry, go ahead.
No, the Library of Alexandria, just like you said, it was the center of all academia and religious text, and like I said, it was a centerpiece of the Roman and the Greek empires. So this is a culmination of all of the ancient world and all the text and all the things that were found in all the conquest of the Near East and of ancient British Isles and all that, all those texts and all those documents and artifacts come back to this library here, where the greatest minds in the ancient world were all collected together to study these things. And you had artists. I mean, Alexandria was it, man. It was the Paris of the day. It was. Paris isn't even Paris anymore, but
right,
that kind of deal, or art and music and knowledge and study. I mean, it was the place.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, we'll do just a little reading on it. We'll move on. It's one of the largest and most significant libraries in the ancient world. It was part of a larger research institution called the Museum, which dedicated to the Muses, the 9 goddesses of the arts. The idea of a universal library in Alexandria may have been proposed by Demetrius of Phalerum, an exiled Athenian statesman living in Alexandria to Ptolemy I, Soter, who may have established plans for the library, but the library itself was probably not built until the reign of his son, Ptolemy II Philadelphus. The library quickly acquired many papyrus scrolls, owing largely to the Ptolemaic king's aggressive and well-funded policies for procuring texts. It is unknown precisely how many scrolls were housed at any given time, but estimates range from 40,000 to 400,000 at its height. Alexandria came to be regarded as the capital of knowledge and learning, in part because of the great library. Many important and influential scholars worked at the library during the 3rd and 2nd centuries BC. Yeah, let's see if I recognize any. Yeah, there's Homer. Don't recognize any of these other names. Let's see. Nope, I don't recognize any of these other names. Very cool. Kind of wish you can go back in time and just give it a little look, man, just to check it out. The burning of the Library of Alexandria may be one of the greatest crimes ever committed against humanity, says Jimmy Corsetti. Carl Sagan said that the knowledge lost from 500,000 historical scrolls may have set our civilization back 1,000 years. These 7 details will blow your mind. The earliest Greek translation of the Old Testament is said to have been written there. Yeah, that seems to be the case. Was the location of the world's first medical school. Wow, founded by Herophilus, the father of anatomy. Hipparchus, the founder of trigonometry, studied there. Euclid, the founder of systemized geometry, studied there. Dionysius Thrax created Greek grammar and defined parts of speech, nouns, verbs, and adverbs, pronouns, etc., studied there. Archimedes, famous for Eureka, I have found it, and give me a lever long enough and I shall move the world, studied there. Eratosthenes, the father of geometry and the first to discover the circumference of the earth, studied there. It is unknown what all was lost from the destruction of this library, which contained documents from around the world dating back thousands of years. Wow. Legendary.
Yeah, it's a shame, man. Love to get my hands on it. I think a lot of that's in the Vatican.
Maybe so, yeah. Maybe so. See, the Library of Alexandria was the greatest collection of knowledge in the ancient world. Most of it was lost forever, but some texts survived or were referenced by later writers. Here are 12 books from the Library of Alexandria that everyone should have read. There's one on here that I found very interesting. Here's Euclid's Elements, and this is about mathematics and geometry. Yeah, this one's about the measurement of the earth. Hipparchus's star catalog. For astronomers of antiquity, he mapped over 850 stars and invented trigonometry, which is insane. Hero of Alexandria's automata. This is crazy. If we have any conspiracy theorists who are still here listening, you're going to like this one. Hero of Alexandria's automata. Hero was an inventor centuries ahead of his time. He wrote about steam-powered devices, vending machines, and even programmable automata. Some call him the father of robots. Mind you guys, this is not the year 1500, okay? This is way before that. Very interesting. Steam-powered devices, that's insane. Herophilos on anatomy and of the brain. One of the first doctors to study human anatomy, Herophilos described the nervous system and the function of the brain, ideas lost for centuries after Rome banned human dissection. There's Apollonius of Perga's conic sections. He worked on, looks like parabolas and hyperbolas and planetary motion. Geography from Ptolemy. And then Callimachus's Pinax. Callimachus, a scholar of Alexandria, created the first system for organizing books, a forerunner of modern library classification. Wow. It's a lost history of ancient Egypt. Alexandrian scholars.
Go back, what did that say there?
Sorry?
Source of many dynasties, pharaohs, and legends we know today. Okay, so that's where we get that from. Okay.
This is a Homeric text with Alexandrian commentary. Alexandrian scholars preserved and annotated the Iliad and the Odyssey, ensuring their survival in the modern world. Without their work, Homer's epic poems may have been lost. Democritus on atoms and the void. What? An ancient atomic theory. The idea that the universe is made of tiny, indivisible particles was developed by Democritus and refined in Alexandria. 2,000 years later, modern physics finally caught up. Our mission is to restore the New World Library.
That may be the craziest thing we've seen so far.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't know, man. Steam-powered engines is it's up there. It's a close contender, but yeah, both of those are pretty wild. Wow, yeah, that's a nice little thread there. Very nice, very nice. And then this last one says, they say that the Library of Alexandria held the knowledge of the ancient world. We rarely asked, was it actually lost? Here's a glimpse of what humanity may have lost forever. It wasn't just a building, it was the intellectual capital. Estimates say it held up to 400,000 to 700,000 scrolls. The complete works of Aristotle, the lost plays of Sophocles, and a couple of other playwrights. We have 7 plays by Sophocles, but he wrote over 120. That guy wrote 90 and only 7 survive. Euripides, 19, only 18 out of his 90 plus. The library likely had them all. We lost nearly the entire canon of Greek tragedy. The Homeric epics, the alternate versions. Ancient scholars collected varying editions of the Iliad and Odyssey. Some were annotated, some had different endings or inserted lines. All were kept and studied at Alexandria. Gone. The histories of Hecataeus and Berosus and Manetho. These early historians wrote about Egypt, Mesopotamia, and the ancient world, sometimes using temple records and oral traditions that are now lost. Their works existed in Alexandria. All we have are fragments that are quoted by others. Lost scientific treatises, thinkers like Hipparchus, astronomy, anatomy, geography, they wrote extensively. Wow. Early Buddhist, Zoroastrian, Babylonian texts. The library was not just Greek. Ptolemaic scholars sought texts from Persia, India, and Mesopotamia, and they were reports, translations of Zoroastrian scriptures, Indian medical texts, and Babylonian astronomy. Wow.
Yeah, dude, had everything there.
Yeah.
Everything.
The comedies of Menander. Menander was the king of ancient Greek comedy, highly influential on later Roman writers. He had 0 of his plays until one partial manuscript surfaced in the 20th century. Before that, they were likely in Alexandria and lost. Lost maps and geographies. Alexandrian scholars mapped the known world, cataloged stars, and debated whether India could be reached by sea. Marinus of Tyre and Agatharchides produced advanced maps and trade route info. Nothing remains but scraps referenced by later Romans. Very interesting, and it's so cool to think about all these big brains of so many different types of thought and class. I mean, it's unreal. All the different specialties and expertise that are all under one roof is just insane to me.
Well, if we know about somebody that was making automatons, then there's no telling what we don't know.
Dude, yeah, exactly. Very, very well said. Very well said. And that's what this last one is, the unknown of unknowns. The worst part, we don't even know what we lost. Books that were never copied, authors never mentioned, whole ideas, whole histories erased before they could influence anyone beyond the library walls. Thank you for checking out my thread. Wow.
Yeah, very cool, man.
Yes, indeed. I'll tell you what, man. Things like that make you kind of take for granted where we are today, you know, with the internet, not thinking that back in the day, you know, you had to live a special type of life just to be able to spend time to do those things, you know. Whereas lots of people, you and I, can just get on the internet today and learn everything. We have the entire world's libraries in our pocket, you know. It's crazy.
You know, I have worried about us as a civilization placing all of our knowledge into digital storehouses, and then one day everything digital is wiped out, and then we've lost everything.
Right.
You know, our ability to do anything, man, and all of our knowledge and everything put into these digital storehouses, and one virus, one EMP could completely wipe out everything that we have stored. So
right.
These hard copy libraries are a good reminder of you know, you need to have multiple places to store things.
yes, yeah. How fragile information can be.
We'll call it, yeah. How fragile information is, how fragile history is. What would change about our historical mindset if we had access to these texts? Access to Ivan the Terrible's library, access to the vast knowledge that was in the Library of Alexandria. How much would our historical viewpoint change?
Right.
I tend to think it would be quite a bit.
I think so too. I think we'd be a little more spiritual and religious, is my guess. Just a guess.
You know, I wonder how much of technology has been stifled throughout the years, and it's just slow drip to us.
Right.
Just slow drip, slow drip, slow drip, slow drip. You know what I mean? Until finally the faucets turned on a little bit more here, as you know, we believe we're towards the end of the times. So the faucets turned on a little more here at the end of times. But it seems like a lot of the things that we have even today were thought of and, you know, designed and dreamed about these thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago in these learning centers all across the ancient world. Very interesting, man.
Very interesting indeed. Very,
Do we
very
have
well.
anything in the chat? Any other libraries brought up or anything? I didn't even look at Rumble, man.
No, I've had my eye on Rumble over here, and we've got no chats over there, which is kind of typical for Rumble. They make you jump through leaps and bounds just to get the right to chat over there, which is kind of silly. But yeah,
Right.
no, I gotta tell you, man, that was interesting. That was really, really interesting. Looking into some of these places and just wondering, where are they? You know what I mean? What's in some of these secret places? It's
And what has survived?
right.
I mean, think about the treasure trove that the Dead Sea Scrolls were. You know, fantastic. I mean,
Absolutely.
absolutely fantastic. There's so many different libraries that I imagine are going to be popping up over the next few decades. You know, I think about that Bible verse that says, you know, they say he's in the secret tomb. Don't go in there. They say he's over here. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of secret tombs and ancient libraries and different things popping up over the next few decades, guys. So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as we go. There will be a lot of false knowledge brought forward. There will be a lot of true knowledge, things that shatter our perspectives on some things coming out as well. But do keep that in mind, that Bible verse that says, you know, they say he's in the hidden chambers. Don't go
Right,
in there.
don't go.
And, you know, recently we've been finding a lot of hidden chambers under the Great Pyramid and what's under the Grand Gallery that's supposed to be under the Sphinx. So they're finding a lot of hidden chambers. And, you know, years ago with what was it, the grave marker of Gilgamesh was found, and a lot of the things around the Iraqi invasion by the Americans in '03, and that Museum of Baghdad. There's a lot of that stuff, man. A whole lot of that stuff. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that as we get into these end days and these final few decades going into it.
You're probably
Well,
right.
Bronson, that's all for me tonight, man. I find all this ancient world and ancient libraries and what could possibly be in there. I find it fascinating. And if you guys have anything out of this show that you want us to do a standalone episode on, like always, leave it in the comments or message us on X if you want us to do a deep dive on any of these particular libraries or people that we brought up tonight, like Ivan the Terrible or the Library of Alexandria. We can do a real deep dive and get kind of drag the waters and bring up anything that might be obscure information. So let us know in the comments.
Sounds good, man. Man, I really enjoyed that. So much fun looking at this type of stuff. You guys keep a lookout for that, biblical cosmology video. It'll be coming out soon. Just want to say thanks to everyone who was able to lurk while we streamed tonight. Thanks to the chatters, Connor, Sean, Samothy. We appreciate you guys. It's always a pleasure being able to hang out with everyone. And I do want to apologize that some things like the internet are just far out of our control. It's just so hard for us to be able to contain that. You think that streaming technology it would be better than what it is, you know what I mean? But really, we're so far behind than what you might think we are when it comes to streaming technology. We've got long ways to go when it comes to home streaming. So we thank you for your patience. Nothing new under the sun. You are exactly right, Sean. And I'll tell you what, 8 o'clock next Sunday, under the sun, we're going to be here doing another live stream. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. I appreciate your attendance. Austin, man, thank you very much. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. See you later.